Peace and prosperity, family. This is the Hut 9. You're watching Mind TV, where we provoke thoughts and inspire thinking. Tonight, I'm going to be bringing you a debate on evolution. Does it exist? Is it real? This debate is between LEX VORTEX and NGOZI. It was done about 2 years ago, back in 2014, and was moderated by Ankh from the Amen Ra squad. Now, we are re airing this debate for information purposes only. For information purposes only. Family, I think these two brothers were really, really sharp with their information. And I think that, you know, if you're interested, this is it's a very interesting debate. You know what I'm saying? You could learn a lot from some of the things that the brothers brought up. I definitely learned a lot, and I'd like to see more of these kind of things done, where the information can be shared, and the audience really is the winner. It's not really it did one brother defeat another. It's none of that. Information is what we really need out of these situations, and so I'm gonna get everything set up right now, and get you guys, the debate. Get it up for y'all right this minute. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this classic from Lex Vortex and Ngozi. This is Mind TV. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button right now and enjoy this debate. Peace out.
Okay, Brother Lex,
Yes, sir.
the Israelite. Okay, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the clock starts now. We need your intro, and your premise, and who you are. 10 minutes, go.
Peace. First, I want to say I am not here to defend the Bible. I'm here to debunk evolution, and to prove that evolution is not only unscientific, but that it has no scientific basis, and that evolution takes just much faith, if not more, than religion. And not only then is it unscientific, but it's actually stupid. That I'm saying that it makes no sense at all. Science simply means to know. The scientific method is a process by which one comes up with a hypothesis to explain something. To prove that a hypothesis, they test it to prove the theory. In order for that theory to become a scientific fact, it must be able to be reproduced the same way every time. So knowledge is gained through observation, test, and study. What atheists try to do is limit scientific discovery to the natural world, as if natural is science. However, the operation of the world may be understood by scientific discoveries in the world, but the origin of the world may not be understood by scientific discoveries that's inside the world. For example, you can find a natural explanation inside of a computer system. The computer works out the way the computer works, however, is not explained in the natural. For the computer, if you want to decide where the computer originated from, you have to go outside to the computer to find its origination. A system such as a great computer operations may seem to be great, and you may understand the workings of the computer, but you have to go to the programmer to understand the origin of the design. So let's find evolution, and then we can get to the bottom of figuring out what it really is. My opponent has to answer and qualify evolution as a science based on testing, observation, and proven experimentation. First off, we have to define evolution in its proper context. Dictionary.com under biology defines evolution as change in the gene pool of a population from generation to generation by such processes as mutation, natural selection, and genetic drift. However, this definition is not sufficient in the big scope of creation. The truth is there are 6 stages of evolution and creation of the universe, and those are as follows. There's cosmic evolution. This is the origin of time, space, and matter, i.e. the Big Bang Theory. Then you have chemical evolution. This is the origin of higher elements from hydrogen. According to the Big Bang, it produced hydrogen and some helium. My question to my opponent today is, how did the other 100 elements evolve? Scientists say through fusion in stars. The problem is this, is you can't fuse past iron. And number 2, you got a chicken and the egg problem, because the elements make up the stars or the suns, and also the stars are made up of the elements. My opponent's going to have to tell me which one came first. Third, you have stellar evolution. This means that stars had to evolve. Science is an observation, but scientists have never observed this phenomenon. They have observed stars exploding, and it's estimated there are over 76 sextillion of them. Number 4, and this is the one where he's really going to have a problem, and this is organic evolution. Somehow life has to start from a non-living inorganic material. Some ignorant evolution believe in non-living material can spontaneously generate. However, many experiments has been done and has failed, and thus far, if there ever is an experiment when scientists can prove or bring life out of non-living material, that would only prove that it takes intelligence to make life. Number 5, macroevolution, the changing from one animal to another. There's yet to be any physical, observable proof of this claim. Now, these first 5 stages of evolution is what atheists and evolutionists skip. When you get to number 6, which is microevolution, this is the only evolution that has been observed and is just a variation of species upon genetic material already available. My opponent is going to have to deal with the first 5 today, not just starting from the single-cell organism that so-called came from the cosmic soup. Now, with that information, let's look at the Big Bang Theory. Approximately 16 billion years ago.
Wow, the brothers are going in already. This debate is going to be fire. So let's sit back and just enjoy this some more. This is LEX VORTEX right now speaking. And it's being moderated by Ong from the Amen Ra squad. So let's sit back and hear some more of this brother as he comes in and brings this information. And NGOZI will be coming up next. He's doing his first 10 minutes, and right after he's finished, then NGOZI will come right.
So they can really, really throw down. But we're gonna have our man thing on debate Thursday, and I'm gonna give it to the sisters for whatever day they want it. All right, so let me put everybody back in queue.
Natural is science. However, the operation of the world may be understood by scientific discoveries in the world, but the origin of the world may not be understood by scientific discoveries that's inside the world. For example, you can find a natural explanation inside of a computer system. The computer works out, the way the computer works, however, is not explained in the natural. For the computer, if you want to decide where the computer originated from, you have to go outside to the computer to find its origination. A system such as a great computer operations may seem to be great, and you may understand the workings of the computer, but you have to go to the programmer to understand the origin of the design. So let's find evolution, and then we can get to the bottom of figuring out what it really is. My opponent has to answer and qualify evolution as a science based on testing, observation, and proven experimentation. First off, we have to define evolution in its proper context. Dictionary.com under biology defines evolution as change in the gene pool of a population from generation to generation by such processes as mutation, natural selection, and genetic drift. However, this definition is not sufficient in the big scope of creation. The truth is there are 6 stages of evolution and creation of the universe, and those are as follows. There's cosmic evolution. This is the origin of time, space, and matter, i.e. the Big Bang Theory. Then you have chemical evolution. This is the origin of higher elements from hydrogen. According to the Big Bang, it produced hydrogen and some helium. My question to my opponent today is, how did the other 100 elements evolve? Scientists say through fusion in stars. The problem is this, is you can't fuse past iron. And number 2, you got a chicken and the egg problem, because the elements make up the stars and the suns, and also the stars are made up of the elements. My opponent's going to have to tell me which one came first. Third, you have stellar evolution. This means that stars had to evolve. Science is an observation, but scientists have never observed this phenomenon. They have observed stars exploding, and it's estimated there are over 76 sextillion of them. Number 4, and this is the one where he's really going to have a problem, and this is organic evolution. Somehow life has to start from a non-living inorganic material. Some ignorant evolution believe in non-living material can spontaneously generate. However, many experiments has been done and has failed, and thus far, if there ever is an experiment when scientists can prove or bring life out of non-living material, that would only prove that it takes intelligence to make life. Number 5, macroevolution, the changing from one animal to another. There's yet to be any physical, observable proof of this claim. Now, these first 5 stages of evolution is what atheists and evolutionists skip. When you get to number 6, which is microevolution, this is the only evolution that has been observed and is just a variation of species upon genetic material already available. My opponent is going to have to deal with the first 5 today, not just starting from the single-cell organism that so-called came from the cosmic soup. Now, with that information, let's look at the Big Bang Theory. Approximately 16 billion years ago, there was an explosion. 4.5 billion years ago, the Earth cooled down from its lava-like substance, and a rocky surface was created. This is just a simple explanation. And then million years after torrential rains created great oceans, millions of years after torrential rains, this created great oceans. This is what they say. There's no life in these great oceans. Swirling in the waters of these oceans is a bubbling broth of complex chemicals. Some of them are carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acids. The chemicals of life, we call them. However, they say the progress from complex to chemical soup to a living organism is very slow, so they say. And this primordial soup came alive 3 billion years ago in the form of the first living organic cell. However, evolutionists Sir Fred Hoyle states, and I quote, that believing that the first cell arrived by chance and accident is like believing that a tornado can sweep through a junkyard and create a Boeing 747. On a cellular level, we have never seen a cell come from anything but another cell. Another problem is for the first cell to come from inorganic matter, it has to also come with the DNA code simultaneously, and a sophisticated DNA programming system at that. The program has to be in 3-dimensional reality. The problem for NGOZI today is to explain how you get the DNA for the cell, but also the translator of the DNA program language within it in the form of ribosomes. Because just like today's modern programming language, the programmer has to write the code to translate the code into understanding language for the operator or for the cell to accept and carry out information. The amazing thing about DNA is that the code for the translator is also found in the DNA. If NGOZI can explain this tonight, I guarantee he will win the Nobel Peace Prize for scientific discovery, because no other science in the history or that walks on the face of the earth with more money and resources than he has ever been able to do it. Keep in mind that this DNA code is just the first cell and has more complexity than any supercomputer in the modern day, and every single strand, it can't have any mistakes for life to come into being. And that is just a single cell, never mind a grown human being. Now, after you get past the single cell and you want to start building a human being through this digital software made up of trillions and trillions of cells with very distinct instructions for every single tissue and the organs and everything else.
Got 2 minutes left, Lex. Got 2 minutes left, brother.
You have a complexity miracle on your hands. And for the cherry on the top, we're going to add the brain, which some scientists say is vast as the universe itself. And then for the whipped cream, we add the human consciousness to this creation, the miracle of miracles. These are some of the most mysterious accidents. On top of all this, the mysterious accidents of creation are going to need NGOZI to explain how all of this accidental creation came about with all the symbiotic relationships between plants and animals, and establish all of this without intelligent design. Let me also give you some statistical mathematics to the equation. The odd single cell being produced from the earth through evolution is 10 to the 3,990th power. In mathematics, anything from 10 to the 50th power is considered impossible. Mathematically speaking, scientists and mathematicians say the totality of atoms in the whole universe is 10 to the 82nd power. A couple more things I need to mention about DNA code is evolutionists cannot explain its origin. But today we use 2-digit binary code. DNA uses 4-bit code, and it is 3-dimensional because it's making 3-dimensional biological organisms from scratch. The statistical mathematics for each strand of DNA, the odds are 1 in 48 octillion to 1. And just to get back to the odds of a single cell existing in the universe through evolution, it's like winning the lottery for the next 10,000 years, and you will still not be anywhere close to the mathematics of 10 to the 3990th power. That's just one cell, not including the complex human body with consciousness. And remember, in mathematics, anything that is 10 to the 50th power to 1 is a mathematical impossibility. This number should convince you of the mathematical miracle that has taken place. Now, this is just
time, brother.
small
Time.
Okay.
Time, brother. You got your next 10 minutes, man. I hope everybody could kind of went through that, man. Was that a reference you was reading from, or that's just your ideas you put together, or so we can find that?
Are you debating me? Are you asking me a question?
No.
Or are you going to let NGOZI answer the question? There's many references.
No.
I'll give you the references. We can do that at the
I'll
end of
just
the
ask
show.
you. Hey, Lex, I'll just ask you a question.
If you want to debate me, we'll set up another debate. You can debate.
Lex, calm it down. I just asked you a question. Lex, I just asked a question, brother. Come on, man. Don't do it, yo. Let's keep on format, brother.
Now while we was at the question,
let me get NGOZI next. Hey, you know what, Lex? You might be right on that. Let me get NGOZI in here now. Brother NGOZI, you ready?
Peace. Yes, sir.
You ready, brother?
Yes,
all right.
Sir.
Okay, go ahead, do your intro on your premise. All right. You don't have to answer none of that right now, because that ain't that's not the question stage. But go ahead and throw down your premise. Your time starts now, brother.
Well, evolution, I like what he said, and he was reading a lot of Christian scientists crap, because he's a nutcase like most Christian scientists. They go out their way to debunk evolution, and they have a problem with it, not knowing the danger that they're playing and doing when they say shit like evolution isn't important. Evolution is important because it connects observations to coherent matter. I mean, based off looking at things around you, evolution itself is a process that adds complexity to natural selection. This is what the dude said, Bill Nye, and when he was debating the Christian scientists. For a person to sit up here and say evolution isn't important, there's something wrong with you. We have to be able to explain the vertebrae and all living organisms from where we come from, even at the primordial level. We have to be able to explain how the cosmos function, how stars rotate, how trees grow, why are trees green, why is the sky blue or appears to be blue. We have to be able to explain and break down the processes itself within the periodic table. We have to be able to explain how the thorax functions inside of the heart. We have to be able to explain the cerebral cortex and how once they measure craniums, certain angles, why those fossils that we find all over Africa, all over, those different fossils which are not apes, why did you see a process developing? See, the thing is with creation is he was reading some shit. He's reading this shit off Christian shit, and he mixed his little words in it to make it seem like he did it. Because he didn't do that himself. That's what they do. The thing is with these creationist scientists, they have an issue with the long-going process of evolution, the long stages that has to occur in evolution, the long stages that have to go in the process of change. How did you explain the different viruses, the different functions, the different levels of archaic bacteria? How did you explain that? That's not my question because I'm sure he can't answer it, but evolution is everything around you. You don't have you don't even have the genome, the phylogenetic tree, or none of this. The different stages of the phylogenetic tree. Just looking at the man's Y chromosome, it takes more than 6,000 years for you to have all these different chromosomes. Within haplogroup E itself, there's over 46 subclass branches. Within mitochondrial DNA L, which gave birth to all mitochondrial DNA, there's over damn near 100. So you think that process can go on within 6,000 years, if that's what you're leading to? It's impossible. And, and to your questions, you asked a few questions that was interesting, but a lot of your stuff has been refuted. A lot of it. And when we get to those questionnaires, I don't really remember a lot, but a lot of it has been refuted. Some things are complex and people just don't know, and they're still in the process of figuring it out. But you can't use creationists to try to back your point. It don't make sense. It don't make sense. The reason why you communicate is because of the FOXP2 gene that allows you to communicate. The reason why you're able to hear is because certain parts of do you know how long it takes for the earlobe, but based off alleles or a pair, based off the different, especially an allele that's dominant, that stands out, for the eardrum to be able to hear and listen, for you to comprehend? It's a stage. You just don't develop within a day or 2 days or 6 days, or according to the myth, 7 days. That don't make sense at all. Or a 6,000-year process. It's stupid. It's ignorant, and I don't have a computer right now because I'm not next to one. I'm not on my phone. I'm on my phone. I'm usually on the phone on the computer. But what I'm saying is, since I'm on my phone, what I'm trying to tell you is I'm not going to read, off from no Christian scientists to try to back whatever you got going on. The mathematical equation that you said, if you want to deal with algorithms or you want to deal with, that's what you was dealing with certain types of binary codes, we can get into that. But you're not going to play that game like evolution ain't real and you communicating, you walking around here. Dude, you got DNA that predates your 6,000-year-old theory. You have genes within your body that predates the 6,000-year-old theory. You need the carbon atoms that's dispersing all through the biosphere that helped design you inside of your mother's womb when you start off as a zygote. And the nutrients that your father was taking, in order for him to ejaculate sperm through his prostate gland fluid as he was having sex, that shit is old, and it predates the 6,000-year-old book that you believe in. So, you can't do that. You have to be able to explain why the elephant in the Sahara is different from the elephant in certain parts of the savannah, or the elephant that used to exist in the Sahara. Or you have to be able to explain why certain hominids was able to go and they live in tropical rainforests like Homo erectus when he was in Africa, how he was tall, but when he goes into Asia, he becomes Homo forensis and he's straight. What's going on? What's going on with natural selection? What's going on with this natural adaptation? I mean, you have to be able to explain it, and you have to be able to explain sexual selection and how do people become what they are, or how do they look the way they look through the different ecozones that was going on the planet, the different glacier periods. You get what I'm saying? If you can't explain that, it's crazy. It's crazy. So for you to sit up here and say a 6,000-year process, or I don't know if that's what you're saying because I don't know what you believe because Hebrews got different views, but for you to say that evolution is irrelevant, it's dangerous. It's dangerous for our children. It's dangerous for us in the future because we're going to rely on our children. And as I said before, I'm not going to be dying on my dying bed and our future babies come to me talking about pray, and let's pray to Yahweh about it. Let's pray to somebody about it. I don't want to hear that. I want to learn what do I need to help stimulate my cells before I run out of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, before I turn around and pass away. That's what I want to learn. I want to learn what can keep me here, what can sustain me here. I don't want to hear shit about no prayer because that's speculation. That's theory, and that's what you're basing your views off of, theory. And it's sad that you're doing that, but hey, it is what it is. Evolution is everything. It's the reason why you walk, the way you walk, based off those alleles, based off those SNPs, those single nucleotide polymorphisms, why you have a certain haplogroup, the short tandem repeats, which is STRs. I mean, evolution is everything, man. It's all around you. The way the air blow, you know what I'm saying? The way air molecules work, the way the water works. You know, it's just all around you. The biosphere, the atmosphere, the 7 layers within the sky itself. I mean, the way the soil work and rocks work, isotopes that we measure when we deal with carbon dating. I mean, damn, seriously. So, I mean, to just throw that away, man, it got to be something wrong with you. Everything is evolution, even technology itself, from Homo habilis, which is the first handyman that starts trying to build things, to Homo sapiens sapien that went even further within it to what we are now. That in itself was the evolution process. It was a natural evolution process. We must realize that you are the universe trying to figure out the universe. This is what you are. You're made of the same component that stardust gave off when those first stars exploded billions of years ago into all the way 14.6 billion years ago from the Big Bang to right now. You are a continuation of that process, an extension of that process. You know what I'm saying? You're just concentrated energy, and you're going to always be an extension of that process. And you're going to keep doing it as long as you keep producing. Nature works bottom
line. You got 2 minutes.
You
got 2 minutes left, brother.
Okay. You can look at the myths of our ancient Africans, ancient ancestors. You can see the mythology in there. I mean, science and the mythology. They only created stories that make sense out of life. Stories were created. The myths tell you why, but science explains how. It's giving you the process how. So when you look at the hows in between from what man has developed, it's amazing. So my thing is, why deny all that to get caught up in the speculation of some type of big man in the sky that's watching over us? And and any scientist will tell you, because most scientists are agnostic, it can't disprove or prove a Most High. You know, it can't. You can't disprove that. But what we're trying to say is that we can explain the processes or the process without dealing with that. You don't need a book to deal with that. There is a process to this reality. There is laws of the universe, and you can explain it without even having to bring up the Most High or some concept of God. So I mean, that's just pretty much the bottom line. But bottom line is evolution is everything, and the babies and our children need to know about evolution, not no book. Theology is one thing. You leave theology where it is. But when it comes to science, it's very important, period. That's just the bottom line.
Still got 30 seconds, brother. Suggest you use all your time.
Yeah, that's just pretty much it. I mean, that's evolution is everything. There's nothing else to it. He has to explain the amount of, well, he might be on the internet, in front of the internet, so I wouldn't even want to ask him that because people be in front of computers and they can play games. But you have to be able to explain a vertebrate. You have to be able to explain the amount of ribs. You have to even be able to explain the chromosomes and different things. Like you brought up bananas and use chromosomes and everything from a pear to a banana and everything. Everything is connected. We're living organisms. You can't deny that. So it is what it is. And in the second round, we can be able to explain evolution a lot more in the processes that happen from the first eukaryotic bacteria.
All right, time up, brother. Time's up, brother. We're meeting you out. Okay, now we're going to get into our next 2-minute round. Now you're going to get into the inner workings of exactly what your premise is. Explain it. All right? And the debate tonight is evolution. Is it real or is it not? The caller number is 347-826-9407. You're listening to the debate series on the Real Black Atheist. Okay, brother Lex, your 10 minutes starts now.
First of all, let me say that response was laughable. That he terribly, just that opening round is a disgrace. But I said I didn't come to defend the Bible. All right, I'm coming to defend intelligent design, which I believe is a God that I call the Most High. I didn't say anything about 6,000 years, and all he did was give opinions and presumptions and explanations, but no evidence or any premises for evolution. Anyone can go back and listen to that and listen to what I laid down, which was science, laws, and gotten to the core of what revolution stands on. Now let's get into some of the laws that the fake religion of evolution violates scientifically, such as the second law of thermodynamics, which is entropy, which is energy and things decline over time. Actually, genetically speaking, every living thing on the planet is actually genetically weakening or losing DNA. This is particularly observable in viruses. The current number on the extinction rate is about 1,000 species a year. So we are losing species, not gaining. So actually, if you go back down the DNA timeline, the genetic sequencing would be stronger, such as, and you can see this, such as making a copy of an original document thousands of times over. Now let's deal with what's called the anthropic principle of the universe. Scientists have found out that the universe in which we live is like a diamond-studded Rolex, except the universe is even more precisely designed than a watch. In fact, the universe is specifically tweaked to enable life on Earth. A planet with scores of improbable interdependent life-supporting conditions that make it a tiny oasis in a vast and hostile universe. The extent of the universe's fine-tuning makes the anthropic principle perhaps the most powerful argument for the existence of God. These highly precise and independent environmental conditions called anthropic constants has many scientists believing that the universe is extremely fine-tuned to support human life on Earth. Understand, it's not that there are just a few broadly defined constants that may have resulted by chance. No, there are more than 100 very narrowly defined constants that strongly point to the intelligent designer. Astrophysicist Hugh Ross has calculated the probability that these constants would exist today for any planet in the universe. By chance, the number is 10 to the 138th power to 1. That's one chance in 1 with 138 zeros after it. Again, there are only 10 to the 82nd power of atoms in the entire universe. In effect, there's zero chance that any planet in the universe would have the life-supporting conditions we have unless there's an intelligent designer behind it all. Now, there's 100 of these principles. I'm just going to give you 5 or 6. Constant 1. The oxygen level on Earth comprises 21% of the atmosphere. That precise figure is an anthropic constant that makes life on Earth possible. If oxygen were 25%, fires would erupt spontaneously, and if it was 15%, human beings would suffocate. Constant 2, atmospheric transparency. If the atmosphere was less transparent, not enough solar radiation would reach the Earth's surface. If it was more transparent, we would be bombarded by far too much solar radiation. In addition to atmospheric transparency, the atmospheric composition of precise levels of nitrogen, oxygen, and carbon dioxide and ozone are in themselves constants. Constant number 3, Moon-Earth gravitational interaction. If the interaction were greater than it currently is, tidal effects on the ocean's atmosphere and rotational period would be too severe. If it was less, orbital changes would cause climatic instabilities. In either event, life on Earth would be impossible. Constant 4, gravity. If the gravitational force were altered by 0.1%, our sun would not exist, and therefore we would not be able to live. This is precise precision, but NGOZI believes it's an accident. Centrifugal force, number 5. If the centrifugal force of planetary movements did not precisely balance the gravitational forces, nothing could be held in orbit around the sun. Check this out. Jupiter, a constant. If Jupiter were not in its current orbit, the Earth would be bombarded with space material. Jupiter's gravitational field acts as a cosmic vacuum cleaner, attracting asteroids and comets that might otherwise strike the Earth. Constant number 7, the Earth's crust. If the thickness of the Earth's crust was greater, too much oxygen would be transferred to the crust to support life. If it were thinner, volcanic and tectonic activity would make life impossible. Now, I would be very intrigued how my opponent can explain all of these precise mathematical principles without intelligent design behind them. That would be like looking at a chalkboard with complex, precise mathematical equation and saying it evolved by accident over millions of years. But we have just started. It gets tougher to produce life by blind chance and evolution when you consider Mendel's laws of genetics. Gregor Mendel is considered the father of modern genetics. Mendel is the first to demonstrate the inheritance of certain traits. His research initiated the modern science of genetics. There are 3 basic laws of Mendel, and those are the law of dominance, which says in a cross between contrast and homogeneous individuals, only one form or trait will the first generation. This is the dominant trait. Number 2, the law of segregation. During the formation of gametes and alleles responsible for a trait separate. This allows for recombination during fertilization. Law number 3, the law of independent assortment. Alleles responsible for different traits are distributed to gametes independent of each other. Simply said, this all means species of different kind cannot procreate. Then there's also the principle of irreducible complexity that says certain biological systems are too complex to have evolved from simpler forms through natural selection and chance mutation, because complex systems composed of several well-matched interacting parts that contribute to basic function, if they were not in place or removed at any point in the evolutionary process, the whole mechanical mechanism would cease to function. Now let's get into a couple of things that scientists use to say that evolution is real. One is a stupid, very dumb term called homology. Homology is when they look at the structure of a limb or the structures of different limbs upon different animals. Like you can look at the human hand and say that the human hand is similar to the bat, to the wings of a bat, and say that we can see some type of evolutionary process because of the structure of the hand. But as stupid as they are, they don't realize this only really tells you that there's intelligent design. Just like if you look at a computer's code, if you look at Microsoft Word and PowerPoint, if you look inside the DNA code, you will see similar programming. Matter of fact, you might be able to hit the spell check button in PowerPoint and the spell check button in Microsoft Word. It only shows that it's using the same DNA code. There's one designer. There's only one code. So you're going to find similarities in all species, from inorganic to organic matter. Another thing they try to use is vestigial limbs. They will say things like the human tailbone is something that came from our ancestors. But if you go and look at the human tailbone, you'll see that it's connected to muscles, and you actually need to use it for a lot of things that we won't get into, including taking a shit. Now let's talk about the fossil records. You have the fossil record does not show any transitional fossils. What they claim to be transitional fossils is ridiculous. First of all, in the court of law, a fossil could not be used to prove anything, because you cannot.
1 minute left, brother.
Excuse me?
Got 1 minute left.
The fossil, you can't show me that a fossil had children or show me the ancestors of a fossil. You can pretty much say that it had parents. Like, and we can use things like the Australopithecine that they try to use, which was proven by Dr. Charles Oxnard to be nothing but a monkey. Matter of fact, I quote from Dr. Charles Oxnard, who studied each bone of Australopithecine, and he said the various Australopithecines are indeed more different from both African apes and humans in most features, and more than these latter are from each other. So all these bones that they're finding are nothing but
Time's
monkeys.
up, brother.
Okay.
Go ahead, finish your statement, brother. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
Are nothing but monkeys that they classified as humans, trying to fit in this evolutionary time scale based upon a geological timeline that was made up. And we can prove that was made up by a certain person. But I don't have his name right now, but it's all bull.
All right, this is the wrong place not to have his name. God damn. Okay, let me go next. Brother NGOZI, okay, this is your round to go ahead and prove your premise. And then we'll get into the refuting stage after this. This is your time. Your time starts now.
Well, I like how the creationists use scientific evolution to destroy his own premise. I like how he's reading shit off the computer from creationists, because that's not him. And when he's trying to read it, he's putting his own little words in it, putting his own little twist in it. Numbers is valid, and the way that he's talking is valid, but he's trying to squeeze the possibility of intelligent design. But you have to explain the destructive aspect of intelligent design. See, intelligent design just trying to talk about one thing to make things harmonious and friendly and peaceful, like everything works hand in hand. But how do you explain viruses? How do you explain how stars die? Our Earth is what, 93 million miles away from the sun, 153 million kilometers away from it? So with that being said, if it moves just slightly from an orbit or something comes from a distant range and knocks the shit out of orbit, what'll happen? It's not that it's at the right place at the right time. First of all, you said NGOZI doesn't believe in, I think you said don't believe in intelligence or anything, or I'm atheist. I'm not atheist. I want you to understand that now. This is not like I'm told you the Amara Squad. I'm not an atheist. I want you to know that. Without intelligence, nothing would exist. But for intelligent design, you must be able to explain the erotical aspect of intelligence, the destructive aspects of nature. You have to be able to explain viruses, fungi, and then the thing that you talked about, let's get into the anthropoids or whatever. You talked about the no tails, or how scientists try to say that we don't have tails, or your premise was about the tails or whatever. First of all, if you look at the base of your spine, and you were actually absolutely correct when you talked about the reason why we shit and everything. That's on point. That's correct. But when you look at the base of your spine, you can tell that the great ape that we come from, which we are, we're part of the great ape family. You can tell that through time, pieces or enzymes are lost. You can look at that with the genomes and haplogroups. You can look at that with the mutation with SLC2485 with pale-skinned people. You can look at that based off the temperature of food that people were taking in for thousands of years in order for the genomes change. You can just look at the haplogroups of genomes to see why things merge the way they merge, or how things go from one state to the next. I mean, but your whole premise you use it's actually scientific. It's factual. But you're trying to squeeze the little God thing in there, squeeze the little intelligence thing in there, and you can't do it. You get what I'm saying? We must explain how viruses kill. We must explain how if you breathe in the wrong amount of oxygen in certain areas, you will die, and nothing will protect you from that. We must explain how does the rigor mortis process occur. You know, when you die and your body becomes plant food, and those bag of cells expand, and then different things feed off of you, and maggots feed off of you in order to allow other life to continue. It all works hand in hand, but why can't intelligent design explain the destructive aspects of nature? Why does a plant die? A star die? The gases that eventually fuse out and burn out become a piece. Okay, but anyway. Okay,
go ahead. The brother phone kind of went. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, back to
back in.
Could you hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear
Anyway,
you.
Evolution is the process in which species develop over time. It's the mutation. It can be due to the process of the different mutations. Evolution itself is change. In itself, you have to go through the different stages of the changing process while things is moving on and growing, how things is, going through the different zones of change. It's basically just change. There's nothing really to explain when it comes to evolution. I mean, a lot of people try to go against it, but evolution itself is just what it is. It's the process of complexity that you see through natural selection. It's nothing that I can keep going backwards and forward on. If a person is against change, something wrong with you. Without change, you don't exist. If you can't keep up with the change, you die. Things that can't keep up with change, they die. Things that they were to adjust to the change through natural selection, they live. That's just the bottom line. And every process that he talked about, as far as, from the stars to the stars being born, to the earth substance being born, to tectonic plates, to living organisms, to that archaic bacteria or the eukaryotic sites, which is a society of bacteria that form a single cell, which carries proto-intelligence, which is correct. It carries proto-intelligence. All of it works hand in hand collectively. But outside of evolution or outside of change, we must explain the decaying process and the dying process while they're trying to hold the stuff together as if it's harmonious, and it's not. That's the whole argument. But you can't keep going on as far as saying that evolution is not valid. Because with the stuff that you're using itself is evolution. But what creationists do again, they try to squeeze God in there. These people deal with evolution. They watch viruses be born. They watch bacteria. They deal with cells. They look at how these things operate, and then they say it's not going through that. I mean, it doesn't make sense. Intelligent design only tries to make the creator or make it seem like things carry intelligence, and things do carry proto-intelligence. But do it work hand in hand? No. It's a destructive aspect to everything. And this is the thing that people must understand. Even the earth is a living organism. Does it have a brain? Do it have a brain like we do? No, it don't have a cerebral cortex. It doesn't. It doesn't function the way we do, but it is a living organism. It does go through its destructive process. We must explain that. And if you can't explain that, there's nothing to talk about. But everything else, again, that you read, as far as the processes, you explain the same processes. We're talking about the same process. You dead on that. That in itself is evolution. You just tried to squeeze God in there, and you tried to put your little words in there, and you didn't even come up with that shit on your own. You're sitting on a computer reading creationist shit to back your premises, yo. That's all you're doing. And the creationists themselves, you have a lot of creationists biologists. You have a lot of creationists that deal with quantum physics, theoretical physics. You have creationists as astronomers. You have creationists that's dealing with all that, but they try to squeeze the little God shit in there, and that's where you're going wrong. Because you don't deal with that. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, and you're just reading. And that's just the bottom line. So evolution itself is just change. It's nothing really to deal with, Father, that. You can explain how the changes occur from looking at the vertebrate, looking at the first archaic bacteria, the eukaryote, the archaic bacteria, which is society of bacteria formulating single cells. And from that stage, you find aquatic life, looking at the dolphin itself, which is a mammal. It's aquatic, but it's a mammal. Looking at the crocodile, the way it's able to go in between. Looking at the species as far as the wolf, and that's a subspecies to a German Shepherd. You can look at a common origin between a canine and a subspecies of a wolf. Looking at the bird, the beaks of the birds. You can look at the different stages between the beaks of the bird and how at one point the bird and the lizard had a common ancestor. Just looking at that. Counting the number of amino acids in the human body between a black or white. Looking at the chromosomes, there's only a 2% difference between us and apes. And if you go somewhere down the line, you see it was a common origin between us too. Because human beings are part of the great ape family. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't like to deal with it, but we are. Just looking at things like that, explaining and erosions, the different layers of erosion. When you go to the bottom, you find more aquatic type or fishy, spongy type, and then when you go to the surface, you find more, go above that layer, you find more reptilian type creatures. Then you find the in-between proto-mammal and in-between proto-reptilian, which developed around 250 million years ago. And then you go beyond that, around 65 million years ago, when dinosaurs died out, you find their fossils on that upper layer. And then on the last layer, you find our early proto-mammal type, which was small. Look something like a beaver or a little weasel at that time period, around 60 million years ago before we took over the world. You have to be able to explain what's going on in between those layers of rocks. The story of nature tells you right there. Geologists is not dealing with tectonic plates for no reason, and they're finding this. That's crazy. And I'm not even reading off no computer. I'm not going to do that. It's just common sense. And if a person don't want to deal with that, I don't understand. That's just it. I don't understand.
You got 2 minutes, brother.
Oh, okay. So yeah. So the thing is, my whole thing is looking at layers, looking at certain species, even explaining the periodic table, all 118 elements. You got to be able to explain. Then this is just dealing with chemistry. You can just look at the stages of the element. You got hydrogen, you got helium, you got lithium, you got beryllium, and in between you have the protons, neutrons, and electrons at the core of it. And the accumulation, the more protons you have on the periodic table, the more mass you have, the more the elements change. So if you look at all of them, you can see the stages. Top layer is gas, liquid, solid. You know what I'm saying? And you have the synthetic elements in between. That's a lot of that is artificial. But you must explain all those processes and all those stages and just look at evolution is a process. It's going from stage to stage. It's going from what you see as the archaic, which means eldest, to what we see now, which is the more modified version of things. It's all around you. It's all around you. Just looking at how the numbers accumulate. Just look. You can watch the algorithms and numbers and the binary codes and numbers. Looking at how things grow. Looking at the phylogenetic tree. Looking at how haplogroups grow. I mean, just separate at different stages. And you don't have to deal with just from the human genome, but even with plant life. You brought up Mendel, the dude that created Mendelian law. You know, this dude in the 1600s was dealing with seeds and plants. You know what I'm saying? He was able to tell what stood out mostly over what didn't. The boldness of it, based off the colors of it, based off what stands out more. This is how we came up with the concept of alleles. Alleles is just not based off the pairs of the genes. It's also based off how the genes function, the brand of the gene of the ear, the gene of the feet, the gene of the tail, the gene of the nails.
Tom. Did you want to finish the statement and goes? Let me give you the same right I gave him.
That's it.
Okay. Now we get into our 5-minute refute round. Right now, you can refute what each other just said. I'll give you 5 minutes to refute, right? And then in the next round for 5 minutes, right after you refute, right, we'll talk about the process that you're talking about, right? You have to integrate that into the world. Meaning, you can't say that there's no God, right? But then can't explain how things work without God, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't say that there's evolution you know what I'm saying, that there's no evolution, but then can't explain why things do what they do. That'd be preposterous. Like Brother Lex hit me one time. He said, "Look, man, I don't believe in the. If say I don't believe in the Bible, what in the hell would black people replace that with?" I remember the young man asking that question. I had to really think about that, and I didn't give him a good answer right off. Once I really thought about it and came back, my answer would be we would replace it with the blueprint of black power. Go ahead, Brother Lex. This is your 5-minute refute round. Go ahead, brother.
Okay.
Refute everything you said. What do you?
Me, first of all, I want to say, Ankh, man, you're not in this debate. Your little rant just now had nothing. You shouldn't even said that. But I'm gonna get to what NGOZI said. First of all, his rebuttal was horrible. He did not give any facts. That wasn't
the rebuttal round, bro.
Hold on, man.
That was the explain round. I'm saying, but it wasn't. Listen,
because. Why am I talking? Okay, go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
Hey, Lex, let me finish. Let me finish. Y'all have to pay close attention. I know this is my first time really getting it. Hold on. Listen. Your round hasn't started yet. Lex, calm down, dude. Calm down. No, calm down. That wasn't the round to refute. Do you get that, though?
You're feeling sorry for your boy right now.
No, I'm telling you that whatever it was he did, Lex, come on, bro. Stop it. Whatever it was he did, that wasn't okay. But listen, but don't say black ice in his ass because he over fucking talking me. Now, that was not the round to refute. That was the round to promote your premise and explain it. That's all that round was. Now, this is the refuting round, Lex. Now, refute his claims. Damn. Your time starts now.
All right. First
your time starts now, bruh.
All right, so I'm going. First of all, I'm not reading off a computer. These are words that was written down on paper by myself. This is called preparing for a debate. Second of all, everything he mentioned only supported my claims. My claim is that evolution is false and there's no evidence for it. All he did was support what I said. He mentioned the loss of genetic material. I agree with him. Genetic material is being lost. It does not prove evolution. Okay? He also mentioned change. Like change means evolution. No, we know there's change. That's called macroevolution. But within that change, there's variations. But the variation is limited to the kind of species. So mutation does not prove evolution. So I don't not believe in evolution. I'm saying that the evolution that you're promoting, that people came from and animals changed into a totally different animal, is false, and there's no scientific evidence to prove it, and you cannot show me an observable scientific method, an experiment, or even show me a transitional animal to prove what you're saying. He mentioned the crocodile. Okay, we have remains of a crocodile, 100 million years old, that was found in Asia during the Cretaceous period. 100 million years old, the same as the crocodile is today. All right, we also have a lobster that was found that was dated 146 to 65 million olds in South Saskatchewan in the River Valley Bear Park Formation during the Cretaceous period. We also have an elm leaf 50 million years old in Kamloops, British Columbia, Cache Creek Formation during the Eocene period. We have ferns that date back 300 million years. So what I'm saying is, when we talk about evolution and natural selection is a force of variation, not a force of creation. Meaning that you can breed all different type of species, but I will never get a different animal. What he did is very imaginative. He brought up some animals and said, well, you can tell from the way they look that they had this evolutionary process. Again, that is very unscientific. The reason why I pointed out what the scientific method is at the beginning of my thesis is to show that NGOZI today would not show any science. He mentioned the wolf, and said we can see that dogs have a common ancestor with the wolf. I agree with him, but I will tell him that the wolf and the Pekingese and the Cocker Spaniel and the Doberman Pinschers, They all have a common ancestor. Guess what the name of that common ancestor is? A dog. A dog. All right? So you can't come here, and he mentioned that I can't prove how, if I take away evolution, I can't prove how it works with intelligent design. The burden of proof is not on me right now. He has to prove that evolution is a scientific method of looking at creation. Again, he cannot get past the 4 stages. He's still starting at the 4 stages I mentioned earlier, which was the stage where you already have biology. That means he must believe in spontaneous biogenesis, life that comes from inorganic life. He can't do that. He hasn't proven none of that. You got to show me how life came from inorganic life, how out of the primordial soup you come up with the first single cell, and not only with the single cell, but with the DNA code within it for the instructions and operation, and also to translate that instruction through ribosomes. He has not done that. Matter of fact, he's failed horribly. And then Uncle Ket tried to come in and save his boy, but his boy is doing horrible. The world can see it. Now, you can make all type of excuses when this is over, and I can see the Afrocentrics calling in with all type of mad, crazy statements. But if you listen to this, your boy has not proven anything factually, scientifically, demonstratively, testably. This is science. But yet, guess what? I'm the one who spooked out? I think we need to look at this again, people. He has not proven or disproven anything. He's only said what I haven't proven, and that's God. But he hasn't shown you any evidence. Tell him when he gets back in his line to show you evidence of evolution. Show you the transition. Show he in DNA how one mutation is beneficial. They say that evolution comes through mutations. Mutations are usually not beneficial. A mutation will usually stop a creature from being able to advance and carry on. All right? Because when you look at DNA code, all right, it is very precise. When you're on your computer and you get an error message from a virus, that's because a virus has inserted extra code into the DNA code and causes it to malfunction. Same thing happens with mutation. So mutation is not evolution. I have proven here, I've given you statistical mathematics. I've given you laws of the universe that cannot be discounted. What is he giving you? Nothing but NGOZI's opinion. NGOZI is well informed about biology. See, that's the difference. He knows way more biology than me. Where he gets confused is he's been infused with this religion called evolution, which he's trying to insert into his biology when there is no scientific proof for it, and that has been shown today. Also, NGOZI will have to tell me how sex evolutionary is an advantage. You have to
Time. All right. Okay, that's your refuting round. And NGOZI. Okay, brother. Yeah, I mean, it's getting hot up in here. You hear what he had to say. Now you have to refute him. Let's go. 5 minutes.
Okay, 1 second. My little brother grabbed some. Okay, let me get it in right quick. Okay, as far as what the brother was saying, okay, all right, too. Okay, as far as what the brother was saying, he's absolutely, he's absolutely on point when it comes to, he used evolution. I mean, he said I used his argument, but he uses evolution. And again, evolution is just a stage of change. It don't mean it changes for the better or the worse. It's just about what can survive. He brought up RNA, which is ribonucleic acid. The ribonucleic acid that he deals with is dealing with proteins and different types of micromolecules, you know. It's a messenger molecule to the deoxyribonucleic acid, which is what we know as DNA. But he brought that up, and his argument was, he said, I haven't proved anything. Life itself is proof. It only takes 6 elements or 6 components to create life. That's CHNOPS, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Those stages create a single organism. When you deal with the eukaryotic bacteria, which is a society of eukaryotic cells, which is a society of bacteria, it's this bacteria that forms a single cell. And from that single cell, it gave rise to the different stages of what we see. From the early aquatic life, from the vertebrate fish that all mammals come from, to the reptiles that you see on the surface, I mean, just looking at the stages, just looking at how everything works. I mean, it's right in front of you. That's just pretty much it. I mean, I might be drifting off because everything that the brother said, it proves evolution. You know, like I said earlier, you can't really disprove or prove the existence of a God, but everything that the brother said, it really proves evolution. And from NGOZI perspective, if you know me, evolution only means it's just processes and the different changes. A dog is not no wolf. A wolf is not a dog. Let's get that correct. They have a common origin, but they're not the same. A wolf characteristic is different from a coyote characteristic, and a coyote characteristic is different from a Rockwell or a German Shepherd characteristic. It's the same thing with subhumans and humans. Our archaic ancestors' characteristic was different from our characteristic. If you measure the Homo sapiens sapiens, his characteristic is different from the function of a Homo Neanderthal or Homo heidelbergensis or Homo florensis or Homo habilis. All these early archaic humans have a different type of function in the way they communicate. Now, you do have different breeds within the human family, but we are the same species as Homo sapiens sapiens. It's different characteristics when it comes to subspecies and the direct species. So with that being said, you can't say that a wolf and a dog is the same thing. They had a common ancestor. The same thing with the lion and the tiger. The lion and tiger don't have the same characteristics. A lion is designed to be more flexible and catch his food and hunt it. A tiger is much more lazier. His goal is really to just grip and grab. Tiger does not function the same way a lion do. Perfect example is the liger. When they crossbred those genes and formed the liger is so big and so lazy, they say he can't even survive in the jungle because he's too big. He can't function because the lion and the tiger comes from, they're different subspecies. They're not the same, but they have a common origin. You get what I'm saying? So you can't, that in itself proves evolution, but you can look at the existence between the tiger and the lion and see that they had a sub-origin. The same thing with the dog and the dog family and the wolf and the fox and the coyote. The characteristics is different, but there was a common origin. The same thing with the dolphin. He never brought up the dolphin. Why he didn't? The dolphin is a mammal, but it's part of the aquatic family. Why is that? Looking at the worm and how the worm functions, you have to be able to explain why the worm functions the way it functions. Looking at things from the earthly level, you can see these reptilian stages to the bird stage to the mammal stage and our earliest mammal stages, the early weasel-like thing that doesn't even exist anymore. And even dealing with our early anthropoid ancestors, who was responsible for giving birth to us primates when they either existed somewhere in Asia, migrated into Africa. The right temperature, the right food, the perfect enzymes, it allowed us to go through these different stages. Let's not get into geology and understand how the different ecozones and how sun layers work. Because I mean, we haven't even played the presentation because we really didn't get a chance to get into sunlight or Nina Jablonski dealing with skin and how things occurred when those anthropoids became primates, and then from those primates, those early primates became what we see as the hominid stages from Australopithecus that you brought up, and Ardipithecus exists before Australopithecus. From Australopithecus, you have the different stages: Homo ergaster, Homo erectus, and then Homo sapiens sapiens. Go ahead.
Time, brother. All right.
Okay.
That's your first refute. All right, brother Lex. You got 5 more minutes to finish refuting. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Let me finish this off. It's been well proven today. The reason why it goes in, and I have to feel a little pity for NGOZI today, because the truth is, NGOZI, and I'm gonna help him out. He's not a real evolutionist. NGOZI's a little confused. NGOZI is a biologist, and he has been indoctrinated white supremacy evolution. Evolution is actually the cause of white supremacy, because when you look at the premise of evolution, right, the premise is that the strongest survive, and natural selection will give certain species and animals the tools they need to move on while the weaker ones die off. All right? And so if you look at evolution, the reason why it's so dangerous, and the reason why any black person that supports evolution is crazy, because if they support evolution in the purest sense, then they are actually white supremacists, because when you look at even the timeline of evolution, they're going to put you, that's why they have the whole thing with Africa and the apes originated in Africa, and they're going to say that you are the closest thing to the monkey, and actually they, and according to, if you believe this, they are the last the top of the evolutionary line, the last man to come out of evolution. So if Europeans are the last to come out of evolution, then that means they must have developed into being the strongest people when you consider what natural selection is all about. So I'm going to say that NGOZI is very intelligent and wise when it comes to biology. He's just a little confused about what evolution is. That's why even the reason why he can never win this debate is because even the top atheist evolutionists cannot win this debate because they have no proof of it scientifically. It is a philosophy. It is a theory. It is a religion that is the basis of white supremacy, the same religion that Hitler had, the same religion that what's his guy, Dawkins, whoever the guy is who came up with that this stupid thing, you'll find out that if you study the origins and stuff, that it all goes back to then it gets into eugenics, and it was all this eugenics.
Charles
Darwin. You'll find out his connections to all these people, and that he wasn't even the man that came up with this evolutionary idea. Now you can go back to I think it was Al-Jahid or whatever, the Muslim scientist, and say he spoke of evolution even before Charles Darwin. But what you'll see that he actually had God in the evolution, and he said all this came out of the waters of Noon. He even mixed a little Egyptian stuff in it. So you can't use that and try to say that black people thought about evolution before this Eurocentric crazy evolution. My point here today is this, that evolution is not science at all, according to what you would call science and mathematics, that it is more of a theory than the Bible. You cannot come here and tell me that I'm spooked out because I believe in intelligent design, which the scientific evidence shows, and then say you believe in evolution, this blind chance, and the mathematical numbers are impossible statistically, mathematically, and then say evolution is a science. And we can show through the fossil record that it's inconsistent. There's too many inconsistencies in the fossil record. Even when you want to talk about what they call the Cambrian explosion, the organisms that show up in the Cambrian explosion are fully put together. You can't even really show any evolution during the Cambrian explosion, which they call. And when you look at the fossil records in their geological timeline, when they try to say the layers, you have putrefied trees growing up through all those layers. So how are you going to put time stamps on those layers? That's crazy. Something else we would have to get into. You would have to explain the origin of sex and how that's advantageous. You can't do it. You can't do it.
Tom. All right, brother NGOZI. All right, let's go. You got 5 minutes to repeat what he's saying. Let's go.
Peace. You don't have to feel pity. You don't have to feel pity for me, brother. This is good. This is NGOZI. Like I said, a lot of stuff. I like how you put it together. I don't know if you was reading it, but you read it off the computer. But I know you were reading off the computer and you wrote it down. However you did it, it's amazing. And just not to mention a lot of things of what you said is part of evolution of what we learn in basic biology. Evolution and creationists, they do debate back and forth, and you do have high-tech creationists, that is scientists, that deals with biology. One of my professors was a creationist. He dealt with the basic fundamentals of basic biology.
Brother, your phone, we can't really hear you. Your phone is skipping, brother. You got to get in a better area. We can't hear you clear. It's skipping.
Could you hear me now?
You now. Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
What I was saying was you can't feel. Let me get that 3 more minutes. 4 minutes. I don't know how far y'all heard me in. But anyway,
your phone keeps going in and out, yo. You gotta get a better area, yo. You was good wherever you was talking from before. You was good. Now you skipping.
Could you hear me now?
You in that? Get back in that area where you was at, dog.
Oh, come on, man. This shit crazy. Can you hear me now?
You skipping. I'm just letting you know. Can't hear you.
Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Could you hear me now?
Go ahead and try.
Hello?
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah, you like skipping, yo. I don't know what's going on with your phone, dude.
Okay, cool. What I'm saying was that
Go ahead.
you can't feel pity for NGOZI, because like I was saying, the way you put that together, you learn from a lot of creation online, you wrote it down, you put it together well. I got to give it to you. You put it together well. But it still matches up with the basic principles we learned in biology. In basic biology, one of my professors was a creationist. And you do have creationists and you do have people that believe in evolution. But to say that those hominids, because they don't say that we come from apes, or in the sense of a chimpanzee. They talk about a common ancestor. You have to be able to explain the 2% difference in the chromosome between us and them. You have to also be able to explain what the hell are those hominid fossils that they're finding. They're just not putting it together. I mean, it's too close. And also, the cranium or the interior lobe of certain fossils, why does it look so similar to human? Why does it look like it's prepared to be human? As if this is a direct chance of what they were in the process of becoming. In the sense of why is there so much similarity between us? Why is it so similar? Where do the similarities come from? I mean, below the waist, Lucy looked like a modified human. She was bipedal. Why did she function the way she functioned? Why? I mean, you have to be able to explain that. All those similarities, how is it not evolution? How did we not come from a common origin? You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, to me, NGOZI, evolution is change. And if you can't keep up with the changes, and you can't keep up, you die. It's not a survival or the fittest thing. It's about if you're healthy enough or if you function enough to adjust to your situation. If you can't adapt, you die. So I don't deal with evolution in the sense of Charles Darwin. Charles Darwin was racist. Eugenics was racist. All that shit was racist. I mean, I wanted to quote from Alcides, and Alcides did include God with his beliefs and his evolution, but basically the natural selection. But when you deal with these other things, I don't think like that. I don't know how people talk and go to things, but I don't think like that. But you have to be able to explain a common origin and a haplogroup.
Your phone is terrible, dude. Yo, your whole round is cluttered, yo. I mean, I don't know if you just did. Yep. Can't really.
Could you hear me?
Yeah, but I mean, you in the same place you was, or you moved, yo?
Yeah, I moved. I moved in another area.
Oh, you totally left out the area where you was at, where it was working?
No, I moved from the first area that you said didn't work to another area.
Yeah, that shit ain't working, yo. You can barely. I can.
Hey,
Chris, can you hear him, or was it just me? Can you hear him, Chris? Chris. Well,
you hear me now?
Hold on. Let me see. Maybe it's just my phone. Hold on for me.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Hey, Sister Jack.
Nah, his phone is messed up.
All right.
Yeah,
His phone messed up, right? Right, Chris? Can you hear him? I mean, you should have like that. It's crazy, yo.
You can't hear me now.
Can
you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you, yo. Go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, well, all I'm saying is you have to be able to even different DNA sequences is important. These nuclear polymorphs is very important. I mean, we have to be able to explain the different subclass branches of man migration from haplogroup E to the beginning all the way down to R, the different stages that they do. It just don't happen overnight. What I'm saying is when you have to be able to match, why is it that it's only a 2% difference between modern humans and gorillas? It's only a 2% difference in the chromosome. We have to be able to explain why is it in Neanderthal it was 0.2% difference. Fossils, I don't know if y'all heard that part, but why are these fossils? Why is it when they measure the cranium of certain hominids, it's only all about 2 centimeters?
Wow. Again, this is M9ND TV, where we provoke thoughts and inspire thinking. You're listening to a debate that took place back in 2014 between LEX VORTEX and NGOZI of the Amen-Ra squad. And these two brothers are very informed, very intelligent, presenting this information. And we're going to get right back to it right now. So subscribe, make sure you hit that subscribe button, share this to your Facebook page, your social media pages, and help us to build this platform. We're going to get right back to this debate right now. Here we go.
A certain hominids, it's only all about 2 centimeters. And they don't even look like chimpanzees. They look similar, but they don't. Lucy looks like a chimpanzee, but way down, she looks like a human, a modified human. She looks like bipedal. Why is this? Why is it that when you measure the associates inside of a reptile, it matches up with a bird. It shows they have a common origin. Well, I mean, why is that? You get what I'm saying? And just looking at the dolphin itself, and that crocodile you brought up earlier, one in Asia looks slightly different than the one in Africa. It's like our earlier
brother. Brother. I suggest you getting a better audio. That round was very unclear, brother. Your phone was just crazy. You know, yo, I don't know why your phone working like that. Now we're gonna get into the 3-minute rounds where he get to ask the question. You get to ask you some questions, yo, and you gotta explain the questions. All right, you get the chance to ask you. Let's see, hey Lex, how many questions you want to ask him, brother? What do you want to do? 3 questions?
I have 15 ready, but you can however you want to do it.
We don't want to do 15, do we? We ain't doing no 15 questions, man. We do 3 minutes. Let him, because you only get 3 minutes to answer. So you gotta give. You feel me?
I give him 3.
All right, go ahead. Ask the question.
All right, let's see.
One at a time. Go.
All right. First, a question, and it's going to be, how does organic life originate? Because nobody knows how a mixture of lifeless chemicals spontaneously organize themselves into the first living cells. I want to know what's evolution's explanation for organic life out of the primordial soup of the torrential oceans that consisted of non-living chemicals.
All right, go, NGOZI.
Well, that's simple. Based off what I learned in school, you're dealing with something called, I don't know if you heard of eukaryote cells, which is eukaryote. And like I said earlier, I keep bringing it up because it's important when you're dealing with the eukaryote cells. Eukaryote cells is organized or a society of bacteria. And what happens is it carries total proto-intelligence, but you have nucleotides at the core of it, the same way they measure haplogroups. You have 4 stages: GACT, adenine, cytosine, thymine, and guanine. That in itself goes through stages through time, a long process, to become that single cell. It doesn't happen overnight. You have the nucleotides that pulls in together to formulate the function, and then based off the function of it, it goes to a process of what you could refer to as it doesn't develop pairs until later on, but the characteristic of the cell, it's a collection. So when you just look, it's a collection of a society of bacteria that forms into a single organism that we see, or that single cell. And through time, that cell creates duplicates of itself to formulate whatever it's going to form. But at the core of it and at the base of it, as NGOZI always says, it does carry proto-intelligence. You should look up proto-intelligence. Bacteria has proto-intelligence. It's not like as if it's naive. It doesn't know what it's doing directly, but it carries proto-intelligence. And it grows into those stages. And this is just the basic stuff that I learned in school from the study of living organisms, which is biology.
All right. Okay, next question, Lex.
All right, my next question is, how did sex originate? Asexual reproduction gives up to twice as much reproductive success for the same resources as sexual reproduction. So how could the latter even gain through advantage to be selected? And how could mere physics and chemistry invent the complementary apparatuses needed at the same time? Non-intelligent processes cannot plan for future coordination of male and female organs.
NGOZI, that was the question.
You said, how did sex originate? You can take them off mute. It's good. You said, how did sex originate? The
he
is what? Okay, well, sex itself is complex. A lot of scientists have different theories. It's part of the natural selection itself, but it goes back to what, I don't know if you brought up the Mendelian guy earlier. And the Mendelian guy, just around, his name was Gregor Mendel, 1856 to 1863, if I'm not mistaken, before he passed. It's just based off what's dominant over what's not dominant. They really don't know, in the sense of how the sex itself grew or how it sprung. They just have theories. But it is a process of natural selection. It goes back to those eukaryotic bacteria. That in itself, the way it functions from male to female, the boldness of the gene over the most sensitivity of the gene, that determines what's recessive and what's dominant. That stands out to what we refer to as male or female. You can see male and female life in plants. You know what? With the trees that's more broader compared to the trees that's more flexible. You can see that, not in the sense of a direct male or female, but you can see that. The number of chromosomes in plants, for example, when you deal with, and it all deals with sex because it has chromosomes. When you deal with, you know what I'm saying, the shrimp, they got 86 to 92. When you deal with, you know what I'm saying, the crab, it's 92 chromosomes. When you deal with grape or grape film, it's 90 chromosomes. Chromosome itself determines the sex, and you get 23 pairs as a human being. You get 23 pairs from both parents. You know what I'm saying? That's 46 total. When you talk about your haplogroup, and you're absolutely correct, haplogroups are a small amount of your DNA sequence. It's not the overall DNA composition. It's small. It only makes up 1%. But it's based off those alleles. It carries a pair. And then within that pair, within the 23 pairs that you get from both parents, that one, you get your mitochondria from your mother, and you get that Y from your father, he can give off an X. If he give off an X and matches up with the mother X, it's a female. If he give off a Y and matches up with the mother's X, it's a boy. And it starts off as asexual, and some people will say it starts off as female, but no, that's by default. The gender is already embedded inside of the child. It just grows out later on. It's called asexual, and that's only determined by default when they say it's a female. No, it just haven't stood out yet. But what I'm saying is that those pairs, when it comes to genes or haplogroups, what's important is the remaining match index within that 22, outside of the 22 pair, which determines the color that it's going to be, the shape of it that it's going to be. That in itself is when the alleles kick in, or what they refer as genomes. That in itself determines what is and what's not. So as far as sex, shit, no one really knows that. Everything else is just theory. They speculate about it. I can admit to that.
Okay. All right. One more question. Go ahead. Since you asked three, just three, then he'll ask you three. Go ahead. One more question, Lex.
Okay. Now, science involves experimenting to figure out how things work, how they operate. My question is, why is evolution, a theory about history, taught as if it is the same as operational science? You cannot do experiments or even observe what happened in the past. Ask if evolution has evolution ever been observed. Even Richard Dawkins, the high priest of evolution, says, and I quote, "Evolution has been observed. It's just that it hasn't been observed while it is happening." So my question is, why is evolution operational science? And operational science is you have to be able to observe what is happening and prove it through experimentation. Can you, without a doubt, say, from that definition, that evolution is operational science?
Well, again, from the academia that we learned from, you can see, for example, stem cells, which are unformed cells, become a single cell based off experimenting. You can say they try to match it up as if it is, but as far as, you know, we monitor cells and viruses, and we see how the cell function, and then we let it sit up for a few months, and then we'll determine after a few months in certain labs, you see how the cell grew, what it grew into, or whatever. You can also deal with a basic science project as far as even dealing with basic seeds and dealing with plants, like Mendel did.
All right. Is that a yes or a no, brother? Hello?
NGOZI. Phone drop, man. That bullshit phone. Let me call back in. You're listening to Real Black Atheist Debate Series. Calling number is 347-826-9407. You're listening to the debate series, Real Black Atheist. The calling number is 347-826-9407. Hold on. All right, go ahead. I got you back in. I plugged you back in, yo. Go ahead, NGOZI. He said, is that a yes or a no, NGOZI?
Was what a yes or a no?
See, that question he just asked you.
I mean, for some science, they try to equate it, but it's not a direct yes, because it's still a lot of speculation in certain areas. There's some things that scientists just don't know, and that's just the bottom line, and that's just the truth. There's some things that scientists don't know. So, I mean, we can look at the minute things like how cells and viruses function, or we deal with stem cells, which are unformed cells, and see how they monitor those. But on a large scale, man, no. A lot of it is a lot of it is speculation. And as I said earlier, you have one of my professors was a creationist scientist, and he dealt with the same methodology that an evolutionary scientist is. It's just a debate over the two. They've been debating over this for a long time. You got advanced creationist scientists, that's doctors, that's building technology, just like you got advanced evolutionist scientists dealing with technology. But what's messed up about intelligent design, not all of it, is when they try to say the Earth is only 6,000 years old. That's where it goes wrong. That's when it becomes a problem.
Well, you probably should throw that. Is that your answer, NGOZI?
Yeah, that's my answer.
All right, now you got 3 questions to ask him, brother.
I mean, my question to the brother is that, really, like I said, a lot of stuff that he said matches up with what I know. But the question to him is, how?
Couldn't hear you, dog.
Because all of it was scientific.
Could not hear you. Ask your question again. Your phone went out, brother. Go ahead.
What I'm saying is, my first question to him is just to ask, how could you prove is the African American? As I said earlier, a lot you said was a lot of people even know based off it. But my question to you is, how could the African American? I don't need it. How could the African American prove that he's a Hebrew? How could you prove? And I ain't just talking about from no haplogroup, because if you don't want to deal with that. But how could you prove that the African Americans, I'm talking about outside of the Bible, come from Palestine and migrated into West Africa? How could you prove it? You know what I'm saying? Because everything else you earlier was scientific. But how could you prove to me that you're a Hebrew Israelite, or that you were these people in the Middle East? That's my first question.
Go ahead, Lex.
Okay. To that question, I'm going to say,
hold on, Lex, 1 second. Hold on, Lex. We got 90 seconds to call in. All right, so you can listen to this last hour. It's a powerful show. We're going back and forth. Is evolution real or not? Caller number is 347-826-9407. Go ahead, Lex.
First of all, I want to say that me proving whether or not I'm an Israelite genetically has no bearing on whether the evolutionary process is true. That's a question way outside of the debate, but I will address it since he brought it up. And I'm going to say what evolutionists should say. A lot of it is based upon faith. The quarrel about it is this. Now I could go through into the book that I follow, right? My guide, and give you all type of reasons why, and I can also go through the history, which I interpret to mean that. But that is not something that's relevant to evolution. What I'm saying is that if someone says evolution is the cause of things, then the burden of proof is upon you. Whether I'm an Israelite or not has nothing to do with the science. See, what evolutionists do, right, is they try to even discredit what they call creationists. Like, creationists are not science. Like, I can't believe in the Most High God and be a scientist when the evidence based upon science, right? If you're a scientist, then you have to go with the evidence. And I'm saying that the evidence says intelligent design. What evolutionists is doing is saying we can take out that evidence and then say we can explain it without intelligent design and make up a story like Moses splitting the Red Sea, right? And then say this is what it is, and then give us no proof. People say, show me Abraham's body a lot of times. Well, I'm saying, show me the transitional body from a monkey to a human, from a fish to a reptile, from a dinosaur to a bird. See what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is evolution is a religion. As a matter of fact, it's more religious than any Bible or Quran on the face of the planet Earth.
George, you got 2 more questions, bro.
Okay, my second question is,
wow. Brothers are going in. The brothers are going in. You're watching Mind TV, where we provoke thought and inspire thinking. Keep on checking us out. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And we are gonna continue with the questions by Brother Ngozi. And right now, I think it's Lex Vortex who's answering. This debate was done in 2014 by on the debate series from the Amenra squad. It's moderated by Ankh, and we are rebroadcasting it here for information purposes only. For information purposes only. Sharing information. All right, let's get back to it.
Bro?
Okay, my second question is, okay, we're going to go to evolution. We're going to stick with that. If you don't agree with evolution, what the hell was those fossils they find that look so similar to? And also, how could you explain? Well, this is one. This is one. Might be rhetorical. And how? And explain the dolphin, because you never explained that. I want you to explain the dolphin and what are those fossils that they're finding that look so similar to human all over the planet. What are they?
Okay. I'm going to say that the fossils that they're finding that look so similar to humans, either they're monkeys or they're humans. That's my answer. And there's no in between. I'm saying they might have variations. Like you might find a human with a human skull, right? And they say, oh, it has a bigger brow like a monkey. Well, that's all speculation. You know what I'm saying? There's never been a fossil found from Australopithecine to any other fossil you want to find that they can determine through DNA and say this is a transitional fossil between a human and a monkey, or say this is a human or this is a monkey. If you read the articles, which I have before this debate, on all of these fossils that are found, it's pure speculation. And most of the time you'll find, just like Australopithecine, that it was actually nothing but a monkey that went extinct. It was no type of transitional involved. So if you want to talk about common ancestor, and like when you mentioned dolphins and said, why do these things look similar? I explained that earlier. It's because you're using the same three-dimensional DNA programming code. DNA is a code, meaning that I do technical stuff for a living, right? So let me explain. When you use code, if I design a Microsoft Word and I design Microsoft PowerPoint, I'm going to use some of the same code for those programs. So you're going to see millions and billions of code that's similar. But the base of what I design, I cannot mix them, which goes back to Mendel's laws. Meaning I can't mix a document unless I have a translator between PowerPoint and Microsoft Word. That's my answer.
All right, one more question, Ngozi.
Well, my third question is, you know, he talked about the three the codes, right? What he's actually trying to talk about is the four nucleotides, adenine, GACT, earlier, adenine, those things, is the encryption of a code. Explain.
Can't hear you, brother. Can't hear nothing you saying, bro.
But it's, I'm sorry, could you hear me?
No, not at all.
Mammal, but it's living. It's aquatic life, but it's a mammal. You still haven't explained. I mean, I can, or what you say, but you still haven't explained it.
What's the question? You couldn't hear the question, bro.
A haplotype. So what is it with genetic? Branch off for the coming from group A all the way down to the last DNA sequence. Which is true. You were on point when you said that the European is the last person to develop. In the sense of his skull structure, his level of skin. It's a scientific fact that he developed SLC2485 around 10,000 to 6,000 years ago. All that's factual. But you were incorrect when you said that Homo sapiens sapien, they're trying to say that we're closer to the ape and they're the last of human. No, actually, when you look at a European skull, they would tell you they're more closer to archaic humans than you and me. Looking at their bridge. You get what I'm saying? Looking at their human leukoantigens and their immunity. It's closer to Neanderthal. They have it in their skin at 70% now. So, I mean, they're not even trying to say that anymore. Homo sapiens sapien is something that develops in Africa. People that leave out of Africa breed with archaic humans, and they develop archaic genes. Why in their human leukoantigens? This is a question. In human leukoantigens, they're finding subhuman DNA sequence. Why is that? Mitochondrial DNA is not modern Homo sapiens sapiens. So why is it that in their human leukoantigens and their immunity, that it's showing that they're subhuman in that state, and in the texture of their skin, it's 70%. Why is that? Could you explain that?
I'm not sure what the question is. You're saying...
Okay, I'm going to say it again. You said earlier that they say that we evolved from monkeys and all that because they're trying to say that Africans are more closer to the ape and the European is the last type of person that developed. And what I said was...
Right.
Darwin was a racist, even in the eugenic. That's an absolute fact. I give you that. That's true. But they're not, because they develop.
Can't hear you, dog. Cannot hear you. Your whole question stopped. Yo. You gotta ask a clear. You gotta ask a clear question. Yeah.
Well, I think I know what he's getting at. I'll answer it like this. Anything that's in the human genome, right? We can say that there's some change. What I'm saying is that it's usually going to be due to a loss in the human genome. So take bacteria for it. Now, I would not try to go back and forth with NGOZI on biology. I will admit that I'm inferior in that, but I do know a couple of things. But I'm going to take bacteria, for instance. A lot of evolutionists try to use bacteria becoming immune to like penicillins and vaccines as a way of showing evolution. But you got to know, NGOZI, that they really show that, bacteria can do what's called lateral genetic transferring. And that,
yes, it could.
That bacteria, when they become immune to certain things, it's not because they actually evolved, but there was another bacteria that was already immune and passed it on to other bacteria. And also, that bacteria, when they become immune to something, it's because they may have lost one of the doors that allows a certain protein to enter into the cell. So it's actually a loss that causes them to become immune. So that's my answer to that. But there's no new genetic information being introduced that is either being passed on or the information is being lost.
Okay. All right. That is their round. Right. Now we get into the round 3 minutes when I get to ask questions. Right. What I think we need to make sure we know here is like what evolution is. I should have put that definition in it in the beginning of the thing so we can understand it. So y'all listen, y'all remember everything we just heard on both sides, right? Let's make it clear what evolution is. We're gonna come to the Book of Origins by Neil deGrasse Tyson, okay, and Donald Goldsmith, right? This is what evolution is, because we kind of got lost in the whole process. Evolution, right, in biology, right, the ongoing result of natural selection, okay, which under certain circumstances cause groups of similar organisms change over time so that their descendants differ significantly in structure and appearance in general. Any gradual change of an object into another form or state of development. That is what evolution is. Plain and simple. Okay? Now, you can't say nothing yet in this round, dog. Y'all gonna get y'all one-on-ones in a minute, man. Okay, so I'm gonna come to you, NGOZI, first, right? According to that definition of evolution, right, where can we see this process happening, brother? According to that definition.
I mean, you can see it from the eukaryotic bacteria, which is a society, the eukaryotic cells, which is a society of bacteria becoming a single cell. You can just look at that. You can also see that process with the baby as a zygote growing into a one single organism as it breaks itself down and it grows into one single organism as a baby. As it grows, the organs of it growing, the tissues of it growing, the muscles of it growing, monitoring the alleles, which is the pairs of genes that stands out, the brands of genes that determines eye color and the texture of the ear, the texture of the skin and the hair. Just looking at it, as I said earlier, evolution brings complexity to natural selection, and it's based on changing those natural processes that's occurring within the similarity of organisms. You're monitoring, you're watching it, you're seeing it develop. The development itself, when you see the baby crawl before a walk, the function of when you develop certain hormones, when your natural molecular clock kick in, when hormones are time to kick in at the age of 13 and 12, when you start going through puberty, it's all embedded in your DNA. Just watching that. All that in itself is based off evolution. And like I said earlier, it's basic. It's nothing that you can really keep going backwards and forward on and on and on. Evolution is change. And it's just the different stages of something growing into whatever it's going to grow into. And if you can't keep up with natural selection or you can't adapt, you're going to die. And it's just what it is. That's just how it works. I don't view evolution the way the Europeans view it. You brought up Al-Jahiz, and I'm glad you brought him up. I got the book Nature with Darwin, and I got some shit that Darwin, he bit off Al-Jahiz. You know what I'm saying? Darwin studied Al-Jahiz low-key and used a lot of his work. Science, or the science in the sense that we know, started off as a philosophy. And a lot of stuff that Darwin said was false. He said, even with the dude when he was debating Bill Nye, according to Darwin, they proclaimed that he said it's only 5, within a race it's only one human, but it's 5 stages of human. And the Caucasian was the most superior. The bull crap, that's not true. Now they're debunking all that and saying that these people are really subhumans from what they told you, and we're not. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else outside of the continent has subhuman DNA. So what I'm trying to say is, and just in layman's terms, just watching how bacteria function, just watching the pairs of genes and seeing how they function, how they go through different processes to do what they do for a specific reason. That in itself is the different changes.
Okay.
You know, just watching the baby develop. That in itself is the different changes. That's it.
Okay. Okay. Question to you, Lex. Since you claim there is no evolution, there is no change, there's none of that, right? Explain how.
Hold on. You're asking me questions now? Am I debating you now, or is it what's going on?
No, we're not. No. We're not debating, brother. I'm asking. This is my round when I ask each one of y'all 2 questions apiece.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna ask you. I'm not debating you, brother. And then I'm gonna let y'all go one-on-one, and then we're gonna open up the lines. Okay? I think we're doing a pretty good job here. We're hearing both sides of the arguments. I'd like to ask you this question, Lex. When you deal with Y chromosomes, right? You know we start off with the L branch, right? How is it if there is no such thing? Hold on. Hello?
No, I'm saying I'm just.
You're not. You can't. Come on. You're not. That's mitochondria.
Yeah, the L is mitochondria.
Okay, that's right. That's right. It is mitochondria. You're right. Okay, let's just deal with the mitochondria, right? If there is no natural selection and no evolution, how do you get from the mitochondrial DNA L all the way up the tree when you end up in Europe with different changes in that DNA? How do you get that, Lex? Please explain how we go from one branch of mitochondrial DNA, right, group to another. How do we get there? It's not like they all started at the same time. How do we get there, brother, without evolution and natural selection?
Oh, man. Again, I never said there was no natural selection and evolution. First of all, there's undoubtedly natural selection and evolution. My premise is that natural selection is not a creative force. It only produces variations. And evolution is only microevolution. So my premise is that you can get changes in DNA, but you will never get another species or an animal. You'll never get a dinosaur that turns into a bird, and that premise goes against all scientific law thus known.
That's your answer.
Yes, sir.
Like
I said, I am not. Okay, but my point is
that's your answer.
Is that
I get it. We're not debating.
Like I said it, right, and like I said again, the burden of proof is not is on me. You're asking me how something happened, but if you're saying that you believe in evolution, then you have to explain that through evolution. And I'm not talking about natural selection and a change in variation. I'm talking about when we talk about
Let's
evolution.
answer the question. No. Is that the answer to the question, bro? That you wait. So the answer to your question is.
I'm still answering the
question. Okay, well go ahead.
When we talk
All
about
right, go ahead.
when we talk about evolution, just like the definition you just read of evolution, that's not the come on, man, that's not the complete picture of evolution. So what I'm saying,
that's the definition of it, bro. You can get in the science thing, bro. What you saying? Yeah. That is what we talking about. That's what Uncle's talking about.
I'm not
that's what the show is talking about.
Let me answer the question.
Hold on, NGOZI.
You know, my debate is over.
Go ahead, Lex.
Debate is over in terms of what I prove
Lex, this
today.
is part of the Lex, this is the whole phase, brother. Don't jump out the phase now. Stay in tight with the phase, brother. Stay in tight.
Right. So
don't run out now.
So what I'm saying is, there's no way to save this debate, I know you're
not trying to say. Wait, Lex.
But let me finish.
Is that a yes or a no? Okay, what is? Oh, go ahead. But you just said it is evolution and natural selection. So okay, we heard you. So I'm trying to.
During the bronze.
Wow, you can see that the debate is heating up. It's pretty much coming up to a wrap right now, and as soon as it closes down, we are going to listen to the question and answers for a little bit, and let these brothers do their thing. Yeah, we're gonna let them do their thing. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal debate, and it's off the chain right now. It's off the chain. So let's get back to the debate and hear what these brothers gotta say.
Scientific law thus known.
That's your answer.
Yes, sir.
Like
I said, my debate is over.
Go ahead, Lex.
Debate is over in terms of what I prove.
Lex, this
today,
is part of the Lex, this is the whole phase, brother. Don't jump out the phase now. Stay in tight with the phase, brother. Stay in tight.
Right. So
don't run out now.
So what I'm saying is, there's no way to save this debate, I know you're
not trying to say. Wait, Lex.
But let me finish.
Is that a yes or a no? Okay, what is? Oh, go ahead. But you just said it is evolution and natural selection. So okay, we heard you. So I'm trying to figure out what the fuck we debating about then. So I'll get back to that. Now you and NGOZI, since y'all seem to agree that there's natural selection and evolution, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on now. So, brother, NGOZI.
There's no way you can listen to this whole debate and now try to say you trying to decide what's going on, man. Let's stop playing games.
No, I don't get it now, Lex. I'm getting confused here. Right? We're gonna open up the line for the callers, right? Y'all both gave out a lot of good information. That's why I read what evolution was. And see, this is why this is so important, though. Hold on, brother. Listen.
Has another organism ever become another animal?
You're not asking me any questions. Maybe we'll ask and go. Stop. Hold on. So let me
right now.
I'm just asking a question, bro. Can I not ask the question, yo? Can I? Come on, dude. Don't do that. Let me ask the question.
All right, next question, bro.
Yeah, now it's my time to ask NGOZI. NGOZI, can you show a transition from a different species? Like, let me give you an example. Like, can you show me a transition from a dinosaur to a bird? That's my question. Is that possible? Is it a such thing as that?
I mean, just looking at lizards and they had a common origin. I mean, certain toxics, certain temperatures of food. It's just not based off just what we. First of all, we have to get into what changes the genome. Genes just don't change overnight. It comes from, for example, certain types of food in Africa. Let me just finish. Certain types of food in Africa, or certain types of plant life in Africa, don't exist in Asia. So when certain creatures take in different chemicals and different foods, this has a lot to do with changing genome. And like you said earlier, which is on point, SLC248.5 proved a lack of enzymes in 111 amino acids with pale-skinned people. Once that 111 amino acid was affected from whatever the situation was due to a lack of enzymes, it caused them to become what they become. So that in itself has changed. So looking at the bird and the reptile, yeah, you can see it. If you, and hold on, let me finish. When you get into, let me just finish right quick, brother. When you just look at the, looking at the vertebrae, and the vertebrae, no one ever really talked about the vertebrae, but just looking at the vertebrae between the bird and the lizard, it's the same. The components that allowed it to change is all based off environment. Environment has a large factor, within natural selection and sexual selection, has a large factor in the change of genomes in certain areas. And when it comes to alleles, that determines the phenotype, the way it's going to function and how it's going to function. If you get two sets of pairs from different sets of DNA sequence, it forms a whole new gene. What separates me from my mother is my father, and what separates me from my father is my mother. Producing something new. And that's just it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's the last question to you, right? And
yeah, I didn't hear an answer how a dinosaur turned into a bird, but let's go on there.
No, I was just wondering what I asked him. Was it a transition? Right? I know I could answer that.
I bet you could, but when next time when
is it a fossil? Is it a fossil? Is it a fossil? You can have a fossil to prove that a bird come from a dinosaur. Yes or no?
You know what?
Really the question.
They have one. I'm going to tell you the truth. They do have one. And it's a sorry one. The one that they have, right? I forgot the name of it. But see, you don't even go there. They have one with, and they say that there's feathers on this reptile. But when scientists looked into that fossil, they found out that it was actually just some type of covering over the fossil that made it look kind of feathery, but it wasn't no feathers on no reptile. You haven't found any fossil or any reptile with feathers on it. And what I'm saying, that comes all back to speculation. So if you try to allude to the fossil, I think
no, hold on. You don't know what I'm alluding to. I just asked a question to NGOZI.
Okay.
Now I'm going to come to you. How old is the cosmos, according to your calculations? The universe. How old is that? The Earth and the universe. Give me how old the universe is and how old Earth is, brother.
I don't know how old the Earth is, and the universe has no age.
Okay. All right. Now we're in our last phase now.
We would say about 16 billion years. Anywhere from 13 to 16 billion years. The problem with that is, according to the Big Bang Theory, that would have to be kind of the start of the three things you need to bring forth the rest of the creation, which is time, space, and matter. Now, if the Big Bang occurred 16 million years ago, according to the laws of causality, the cause that caused the Big Bang would have to be something that was eternal and non-causal, because you can't have the first cause caused by something that is causal.
You got that answer, brother? You don't know.
I think you heard my full answer. You can try. So let's just move on.
Like I said, I mean, you said you don't really know, Lex. That's all. So now we're moving on, right? We want to kind of let the callers get in here now, okay? Find this very, 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 very interesting. Okay, I think it's pretty much clear where NGOZI is coming from, right? I think we're a little murky on where you at, Lex, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think you brought. Hold on, Lex. I'm saying from my point of view. Listen, because what it sounds like to me is, hold on, Lex. What it sounds like to me is, right? You put information out, right? And we then you agreed.
Move to the call.
No, we're in the, listen. Okay, we're gonna go to the call. Listen, we're gonna go to the call.
Go to the call.
No, I'm not trying to clean anything up, Lex. There's nothing to clean up, Lex.
Set a debate with me, because this is the first one of the annihilation that I'm gonna go through. After this, I'm gonna go through you.
Hey, Lex. Hold on. Wait. Everybody freeze. No. Whoa. Everybody freeze for a minute. Everybody freeze it out for a minute. All right? Listen. I asked at the beginning of the debate. And hold on, Lex, relax. Okay?
Just giving a lot
at
of
the beginning of the
commentary
debate,
right now.
wait a minute.
Let's go
At the
to
beginning
call.
of the debate, what I asked for, right? I asked for, in the intro, I asked for what you were, who you were, what was your stance, what was your premise. And I'm saying, if you go back and listen to it, you never said that. That's all I'm saying, brother. We need to stick by these rules. No one, no. We never understood what you were saying. You know what I mean? Like, was you a creationist? Was you like for evolution, against it? And when I asked the question, you said, yeah, there is evolution. So I'm just trying to figure, why was we even debating then, Lex? That's my point, though. Come on, dude, don't act. Well, don't mess up a good show with that, bro.
Let me just say this.
Let's go to the calls.
Hold on, Lex.
No,
hold on. For this phase, Lex, hold on. For this phase, we're not going to do this. For this phase, listen, hold on. For this phase, listen, Lex. Damn. Lex, for this phase, right, hold on. I'm beating your ass out. I'm muting NGOZI out. For this phase, I'm going to let y'all two go at it for 3 minutes. Okay? Now, your line is open, Lex, and your line is open, NGOZI. Now, be 2 minutes, talk about what y'all need to talk about. Go.
This all I'm saying. I'm going to say this because he's been talking. You're arrogant for you to be a Hebrew. You didn't beat me, if that's what you're thinking. Egotistically, something wrong with you. Another thing, you backed a lot of stuff that I believe, and you mixed it up with natural design, and you put that creationist stuff in there. A lot of stuff that you said, and I can admit, is scientific, and it backs what I believe and what I know. So what I'm saying is, how could you sit up here and say you annihilated me, and you use science, you back what I said with science, and a lot of stuff that you gathered it off creation sciences links. You wrote it down. You put your own little. Now, if you listen, let me finish. If you listen to the debate, you can show that you was reading. See, dude, I don't read off papers. I know this shit off the top of my head, and I wasn't freestyling. I got a whole lot of links that I could have put up, but I didn't even use it. I got the same book he got, Origins. I got the same book that he got about Neil deGrasse Tyson. The same book. Didn't even bring them up. I did this off the top of my head. You, on the other hand, are reading things from what you got off creation sciences links, match it up, put your own little words in it just to refute stuff. The same arguments that evolutionists and creationists have been having for a long time. It still improved no intelligent design because you still wasn't able to put in, like every other creationist they can't do, you can't explain the destructive aspects. The things in nature that's not harmonious, the things in nature that don't work hand in hand. The laws that you said is correct, I'm going to give it to you. You were correct about the laws. You were correct about a lot of stuff. But that's the same shit that creationists always use against evolutionists. So you didn't win shit. What you did was you read it, you practiced almost probably for 2 weeks, as we supposed to have been did this, but you practiced for almost 2 weeks, prepared yourself for it, and sat up there and read, and then you just presented all your information. I don't read all articles or papers to prove my point. I don't do that.
What part of the program was the part of the debate where we debated on debate technique?
I mean,
what part of the program
it was really a lot of
why
shit.
we even have this dialogue right now? Okay, well, you had. Let me respond. It's my chance to respond because what I'm saying, what y'all are doing right now, the debate is
your dialogue is over. Your dialogue is listen.
NGOZI, you can't cut them off. Y'all talking like 2 minutes. You cannot cut them off. Nope, you already spoke. NGOZI, you already spoke, right? Let that man talk.
All right, bro.
Let him talk. Go ahead.
What Ankh is really trying to do is this. He's trying to interpolate another aspect to this debate when the debate is over, now trying to say we don't know what we was debating. We know exactly what we was debating.
This is part of the debate, bro. This is part of the debate.
I'm speaking. I was debating intelligent design and saying that macro evolution is ridiculous and stupid and unscientific. I laid out my premises early in the debate, and throughout this whole debate, we've been listening. We've been going back and forth. For you to come up here now and try to say that you didn't know my stance and we don't know what the hell we're debating about is totally deceptive, wicked, and a cop-out. So let's go to the calls, man. Let's go to the
check
calls
this out.
now.
So we got it now. So you was debating intelligent design. So you're an intelligent designer, correct? Is that what you laid in your premise, brother? Intelligent
I'm ready
design.
to go to the calls. I already had a debate.
No. Whoa, this is part of the debate. I'm just saying. So for the record, Brother Lex says he was debating intelligent design against evolution. Okay, brother, we got you on the record. That's what you just said. See, I'm not dumb, Lex. I just want to make sure I'm hearing this from my own ears. So you're
Yo,
now what Lex? Well, tell us the Lex.
Bring up.
So you want to call me evil? Lex, don't do it, Lex.
Why are we even getting into this? Why we shouldn't even be?
Because this is part of it, though, Lex.
Lex,
this is part of it, Lex. I'm causing confusion, Lex. We just want to know your stance. Like, we want to know what NGOZI stance is.
So
he is for evolution.
All the information I put out tonight, all the stuff I went through, you telling me you didn't understand none of that I was saying, and you don't know my stance? That's crazy, man.
Now I do, brother. Now I do, Lex. Now I do. Lex.
Get your next contender.
Now I do, Lex. Now I do, Lex. I understand. Hold on. Now I understand, right, that you were speaking from a point of view of intelligent design. That was your motive.
So
correct?
You called me
correct?
You called me the Hebrew. Listen here. This is, come on.
Okay,
you called me the Hebrew, right? Hold on.
All right.
And you know that I believe. Hold on. Let me show you this.
Bug dancing.
See, here you go. You know I'm about to show you the fallacy in that. You know I'm a Hebrew, right? You know I believe in the Bible. So what do you mean you don't know what my stance is? The debate was about evolution. You said that there is no God.
So you're calling Yahweh the intelligent design?
Let's go to the
Lex, hold on, Lex, don't play stupid. Lex, everybody is listening. We're not cutting each other off.
Man?
So wait, no, we can't. I'm just trying to figure out. So you're saying that the Bible deals with intelligent design. That's basically what you're saying, right? This is for the people listening. Yes or no, Lex?
Okay, let me respond to that. When I opened up, I said, I am not coming here today to defend the Bible. I am coming here today to defend a stupid religion called evolution that is not based on any scientists. And then I not only laid out, what evolution I was talking about. I gave you 6 stages of evolution and told you that NGOZI would not be able to get past the first 4, the first 5. And that evolution begins with number 6, which is microevolution. The first 5.
Okay, brother.
But I did get past it. You can see micro growing into the macro. It's obvious. It's all processes.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. Let's go to the lines, Doc. Let's go to the lines.
No, hold on.
Let's go to the lines.
Yeah, just go to the lines, Doc. Because see, the thing is, you're so arrogant.
Come on, man. What?
You sit up here and hold on. You didn't win shit.
All right, we're going to hey, we ain't doing that. We're going next. Hey, Lex. Thank you for bug dancing around intelligent design, brother. Thank you for bug dancing around that, brother. We really appreciate that, brother.
Just let the other people on, man.
All right, we going to the now. We're just going right down the line real quick. 937, what's your comment? What's your question? Let's keep it moving.
All right, Hotep. My question is for Lex. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Go.
Okay, my question was for, I've been hearing you calling on the Armor Roscoe Squad show for the last month, and you never talked the way you talked tonight, so you obviously been studying something. And
all right, so the debate is pretty much over right now, and the brothers are basically going to the phone lines. Chime in and let us know who do you think won so far from the information presented. I'd give the nod to Lex based on how he presented his information. And NGOZI is very, very intelligent, extremely smart, but I just don't think listening to this debate that he was prepared. Like he said, he wasn't going off notes. He just wasn't prepared. Sound like he wasn't in a good environment, and we just leave it at that. But we know these two brothers are very smart, and I'm very curious to hear what this caller has to say now. So let's go to that. And again, this is M9ND TV, where we provoke thought and inspire thinking. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, like and share. Leave a comment, and help us to build this platform. So let's go back to the debate and listen to what the callers have to say.
way you talk tonight, so you obviously been studying something. And when you called in, you explained evolution better than NGOZI did. So maybe the reason why we're confused is because you're coming from somebody else's state of mind, it seems like, and you never once explained how everything that you mentioned, which a lot of it seems factual and very scientific, I have to agree with that, but you never explained how this so-called intelligent design, how is that the Most High creating it? Because everything you stated is from a scientific point of view. It has nothing to do with anyone of the Most High. So can you explain to us how everything you stated came from the Most High, how these so-called molecules, everything that you stated, how does that come from the Most High and not evolution? You never explained that. Never.
Okay. Thank you for the
computer. As NGOZI said, he was on the computer.
Why is NGOZI talking
Let that brother talk. Come on, go, Lex.
All right. That is a very good question. I think that she
that's a good goddamn question.
Why are you talking? Man, I mean, we can end it right now, bro. We can end it right. I can walk away feeling real good right now if I'm not going to be able to talk.
Okay.
But here we go.
Okay.
She asked a question, but obviously she wasn't really paying that close attention to this whole thesis. If you listen to the premise, when I said that NGOZI can't get past the first 5 stages of evolution, right? And basically that's starting before you even get to microevolution, that you have to explain how inorganic matter became living biological matter. I'm saying that it can't be explained. It never has been explained. And the way I explain it is pretty simple. The Most High could be the only thing that can bring living life to inorganic matter because he's powerful enough to do it. Now listen. Now here's the thing. You can try to make it silly and laugh and joke and say, because you're an atheist, to say, well, you can't explain it like that. But the thing I'm saying is you can't disprove that. I can disprove what you're saying. You can only stay in utter darkness.
You don't know what I would say, Lex. Right? So don't drag me. You don't know what I would say. Because guess what I would say, Lex? I would say that there is no starting point.
I don't want to know what you have to say.
Well, we can wait. Hey, Lex, hold on. Did you? No, Lex. Did you answer the question? Have you answered the sister?
I answered the sister's question. Can we go to the next call?
So you done. So in goes. Do you want to piggyback on that?
It wasn't his question.
Hold on.
You know what? I'm done.
Lex, this is what we doing, Lex. We gonna get all the callers. We're gonna let both of y'all respond. We're not playing games. We're gonna get to your people's, Lex. Lex, don't do it, Lex. Stop, brother. Stop. Don't do that. We let both of y'all respond.
I'm gonna just calm down and let y'all expose yourself. Go ahead.
Let me just say this. No. Lex, listen to me, brother. Everything that you said earlier, I agree with a lot of stuff. It's scientific. I just gave you credit and said it was scientific. You didn't come up with that shit on your own. You've been studying. That's all you've been doing. See, dude, I don't be in front of computers. If I'm on the phone or on the internet, I'm on Facebook on my phone. I don't be in front of no damn computers. So hold on. No, let me finish, brother. Hold on. Listen, hold on. Let him finish, Lex. Lex, listen, brother. I'm not disrespecting you. What I'm saying is you did a good job because you really backed evolution. You explained it a lot clearer. You was back in evolution, but the thing is, you mixed it up with that intelligent design crap, and you tried to put the speculation in at an in-between gap, which is based off of speculation. You say the Most High did it. The things that scientists can't explain, that's factual. But what I'm saying is that the things that you explained is scientific. You can't say it wasn't scientific, because it was. And what the thing is, you mean your
my
whole,
premise was, no. You're twisting what I'm saying. My premise. Go ahead,
Lex. Go ahead, Lex.
Wait a minute.
Come on in, Gozy. Let him say that. Then we go to the next caller. Go ahead.
My premise is the reason why I was scientific. See, this is where the confusion's coming in. You're saying y'all have something in your mind where science and creation can't go together. I'm saying that I was speaking very scientific, but the science that I was speaking has nothing to do with what you call macroevolution. Next caller.
All right, and hold on, Ngozi. Lex, you're not going to tell me that I can't say something. No, wait a minute, brother. You cannot tell me that I can't say nothing. Right. And that's very, very rude of you. I think everybody's getting a chance to talk. Yes, hey Lex, don't do it,
you're the moderator. You're not in the debate.
Bro, like you said, the debate is over. Did you not just say that? Now we're hearing from the callers.
It's continuing.
Let me go to the next caller, man. Let me go to the next caller, man. 404, whatever. 404, your line is 404, your line is open. 44573, your line is open. You're done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 404, your line is open. 44710, your line is open. I can hear you. What's your question?
Okay, all right, here we go. Here we go. Make this real fast. You can hear me, right?
Yeah, who is this? Who is this?
Lex.
Who is this?
All right, Lex. Do you know a professor by the name of Michael Behe?
I'm not familiar right now. No.
Okay, because your referencing sound. He's a professor of biochemistry at Lehigh. He's like the leading authority on the intelligent design community, and all your stuff sounds like you quite reference him quite a bit. It sounds like it. Whoever that you.
Do you have a question?
I'm gonna make a quick statement, and then I'm gonna have a question. I'm make a quick
he's
statement.
allowed that, Lex.
Let me just say, I'm not debating the callers, right? Am I debating the callers or are we taking questions?
Lex, we having a conversation.
I asked him a question that he know who Michael Behe was, so I explained to who he was because I know most of his reference come from someone who has studied that guy because he's the leading authority in that intelligent design community because he is a professor of biochemistry at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. So I know that's where all this reference come from. Like Doolittle, who's one of the people that, do you know who Doolittle is? Russell. Do you know who that is?
Nah, bro, I don't know who that is.
Anyway, if you got your stuff off Discovery Institute, that's who they refer to. So you
I never heard of the Discovery. I never heard of the Discovery Institute.
Yeah, well, I'm telling you, your stuff comes from Michael Behe. So go back and find out.
Information is everywhere, bro. Information is everywhere.
But this is what I'm about to explain to you real quick. Then I got a question. One thing you said about the fossil thing is true because Chris Stringer found a Homo rudolfensis type of skull in West Africa and dated at 13,000, but he arbitrarily put it into Homo sapien. So we know they do that, and I'm in agreement with you there. But the problem is when you get to this intelligent design. And, of course, some things can't be, they do. Someone like Michael Behe does have an argument that many evolutionists can't debunk. But here's the thing, the question to you is that, like it says, intelligent design is a form of creationism, and then it goes on to say, and they believe the design to be a Christian deity. We're just dropping Christian and say deity. So it's for you to prove your deity to prove your intelligent design. Can you prove your deity?
Again, this conversation was about evolution, not a particular God. So
no, you're not listening.
Let me answer your question. Let me answer your question.
Go ahead.
So to ask me, right, if I can prove my deity does not prove the theory of evolution. What I did was disprove the premise I said when I started the call, and I need people to listen close again, is that evolution is not scientific. I'm saying that it's not even scientific. I'm saying that according to science, that's why you hear people saying, well, you did speak a lot of science, and I'm saying that evolution doesn't line up with science. That is the debate, and I have proved.
So why do you agree with it then?
No, but you're saying you believe in intelligent design. So any debate is saying that.
Then I show.
Although I'm trying to refute what you believe in, I should be able to prove what I believe in. So if you believe in intelligent design, you're supposed to also be able to prove your deity.
Right. So if you want to set up a debate with me with the current reigning champ, brother, get in contact with Uncle Tech, and I will gladly designate your ass.
That was a simple question. That was no debate. That's a simple question. Now,
come on, Lex, cut that old bullshit out. Yeah, put it out and stop, Lex. Stop.
Silly. And that's the problem, You got a good show, but it becomes so silly because of these type of guys.
Yeah, Lex, that's crazy what you're doing right there. Now, Lex, he asked you a good question.
Now listen, hold on. Let me make this statement, right? The debate.
Let me say something else. NGOZI, read Michael Behe, B-E-H-E, and when you read that guy's work, you'll realize that was his reference, or that was the father of all the references
I didn't reference him. So what you're doing is another.
You know what? You don't know who he is, but everything that you reference come from him because he's like they say, the darling of that industry because he is a professor of biochemistry. So everything that you reference, he is the father of that pretty much. He's a young guy. I'm just saying that because he's the one that they know they can go to when the person like Hobart or whoever the other ones fall short. Because people can make clowns out of them.
So we can have another debate on references then. We can have another debate on references.
Lex, are you trying to be funny? I just want to know, dude. That guy said, if you can, didn't you know what he just said, though? He just simply said, could you prove your claim? You should just say, no, that ain't got nothing to do with nothing, Lex.
He said a whole lot of other things that came with it, saying that I'm referencing this dude and that dude, and I'm just saying, this is...
I know who they is. I know because I'm well informed on that. I know the Discovery Institute is the
But I don't know that dude you're talking about.
Yeah, you don't know who they are. You went and bid and you got pieces of other people who know. You got let me listen to you. Let me tell you something, young brother. You've got pieces of other people who you got other other people who use those authorities. That's what you have done. I know that.
Thank you, brother.
All right, we're going to go to the next caller.
NGOZI could have killed this debate by asking you to prove your deity because if you're going to ask him to prove something, that was the whole thing with Bill Nye and the other guy. It's still the same thing.
I didn't prove.
If you're going to ask me to prove something, you should be able to prove your theory. Of course, everybody knows that theory of evolution has a lot of gaps in it because it's an ongoing process. But when a person says intelligent design, there's no ongoing process. It's saying that it's some sort of eternal being, which is a deity, is over this. You have to prove that
wasn't
deity.
My
if
argument.
you can't prove that deity, you should never speak of your intelligent design.
Listen,
you should
bro,
say,
what you're
I'm going to refute evolution.
All right.
All right, we're going to go to the next caller.
Let me respond. Hold on.
Go ahead. All right, brother, I'm going to put you on hold. Now, hold on, Lex. All right, brother, thanks for calling. That's a good,
very
excellent.
Right. Y'all are very upset.
How are we upset? Hey, Lex, look, check this out, Lex. You trying to find any reason to jump off the damn phone. I just said, hold on, let me get the brother off. Now, go ahead, Lex. Stop it.
I mean, he believed he won.
Hold on, NGOZI. NGOZI.
Hold on.
Let this nigga talk. You had plenty of time to speak. We all did. Go ahead, Lex.
Yo, this is turning into funny stuff. But check it out.
Lex, go ahead, Lex.
The argument, I said in the beginning, I'm not here to defend the Bible or my beliefs. I came here as a scientist, and I proved
that. You just said it.
Okay, can I talk? So
no,
I proved.
Yeah, go ahead, yo. Go ahead.
I proved that evolution was non-scientific with scientific data. End of story.
Okay. Next call. Now, here's my point. Now, hold on, NGOZI. Hold on. Here's my point. When I asked the question about the DNA, going from L all the way down the line, right, you agreed that it was evolution and natural selection. So I'm just confused for you to agree. Hold on, brother. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. No, wait a minute. Hey, Lex, we supposed to be men here. Let me finish, brother.
And so with that, we are going to shut it down. We want to thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, this is M9NDTV. I'm your host, Hut9. And this is where we provoke thought and inspire thinking. Make sure you subscribe. Help us to build this platform by sharing to your social media networks. And make sure you come back regularly, like, comment, share. Peace out.